The diner.
You know what this is? It's the world's smallest violin playing just for the waitresses.
The drinking game.
See auf Wiedersehen to your Nazi boss.
The gold watch.
Little man, I give the watch to you.
One of the reasons Quentin Tarantino's films are so unique is his ability to craft dialogue scenes that become set pieces of their own.
Pour moi, un café serré. Et pour la demoiselle, un verre de lait.
In these scenes, conflict escalates.
Hey! Lay your palms flat on that tabletop. If you lift those palms off that turtle shell tabletop, Mr. Pooch is gonna let loose with both barrels that sawed off.
Character dynamics are explored.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
Oh man, they got the metric system. They wouldn't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is.
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That's right.
And they are anything but boring.
I'm just fucking with you.
Let's see how Tarantino ensures that even his longest scenes always stay engaging.
The fuck are you talking about?
Come on, let's get into character.
There is a method to his madness. In Hollywood films, the average length of a scene is between 2 and 3 minutes. Tarantino ignores this expectation, writing scenes that are often 10 pages or longer. If you want to write scenes this long, your challenge is to keep the audience engaged the entire time. And we're going to reveal 3 of Tarantino's magic tricks. Create high stakes. Structure. Stories within stories. We're going to take a look at the final confrontation between Bill and the bride in Kill Bill Volume 2. We're going to use Studio Binder's screenwriting software to show Tarantino's craft on the page as written. Before we begin, click the bell icon below to subscribe and stay in the loop. First, the stakes need to be high. And we should know what's at risk going into each scene.
Freeze, Mommy.
Bang, bang! Oh!
We've watched the bride go through hell and back to find Bill. Over the course of 2 films, we've been waiting for this moment. What's at stake is life and death. Will the bride finally take her revenge, or will she be cut down before the finish line?
Don't touch it, or I'll stick another one right in your cheek.
When you're writing an extended scene like this, make sure the stakes are huge and understood by the audience right from the get-go.
I have a few unanswered questions.
Next, the scene needs structure. Every scene should have a beginning, middle, and end. The longer your scene, the more important these divisions and shifts become. Let's apply a 3-act structure to this scene from Kill Bill. Act 1 begins as the bride makes her way to the couch.
I suppose the idea is we cross Hanzo swords. Am I right? Well, it just so happens this hacienda has its own private beach. And that private beach just so happens to look particularly beautiful, bathed in moonlight. And there just so happens to be a full moon out tonight. So, sword fighter, if you want a sword fight, that's where I suggest. But if you want to be old school about it, and you know I'm all about old school, then we could wait until dawn and slice each other up at sunrise like a couple of real-life monsters. Now, if you don't settle down, I'm gonna have to put one in your kneecap. And I hear tell that's a very painful place to get shot in. I'm just fucking with you.
The power shifts in Bill's favor, and this puts an end to Act 1. Act 2 begins with the bride fully at Bill's mercy.
Gotcha.
Fuck did you just shoot me with?
My greatest invention, or at least my favorite. Don't touch it, or I'll stick another one right in your cheek.
With Act 1's initial burst of violence, the edge has been taken off, and we downshift into a completely new topic.
As you know, I'm quite keen on comic books.
We can relax a bit, and we can focus on Bill's Superman speech.
Superman didn't become Superman. Superman was born Superman. When Superman wakes up in the morning, he's Superman. His alter ego is Clark Kent. His outfit with the big red S. That's the blanket he was wrapped in as a baby when the Kents found him. Those are his clothes. What Kent wears, the glasses, the business suit, that's the costume. That's the costume Superman wears to blend in with us. Clark Kent is how Superman views us. And what are the characteristics of Clark Kent? He's weak. He's unsure of himself. He's a coward. Clark Kent is Superman's critique on the whole human race. Sort of like Beatrix Kiddo and Mrs. Tommy Plimpton.
So, the point emerges.
And the point of his monologue becomes a transition into the final act. This time we ramp up the emotional intensity of the scene.
Oh, you can take the needle out.
Are you calling me a superhero?
I'm calling you a killer. A natural-born killer. You always have been, and you always will be.
Bill's questions force the bride to admit some difficult truths.
First question. Did you really think your life in El Paso was going to work?
No. But I would have had baby.
Don't get me wrong. I think you would have been a wonderful mother. But you are a killer.
The climax in this scene is emotionally driven. We are reminded just how difficult the bride's journey has been.
All those people you killed to get to me felt damn good, didn't they?
Yes.
Every single one of them.
Yes.
The structure of this scene is clearly demarcated, and each act has a distinct purpose and a different tone. Act 1 is physical.
Gotcha!
Act 2 is intellectual.
Clark Kent is Superman's critique on the whole human race.
Act 3 is emotional.
But I would have had baby.
The movements give the scene peaks and valleys, and the constant evolution allows the scene to remain interesting for its extended duration. Which brings us to our final tip. Let your character tell a story. Tarantino loves storytelling, and so do his characters. And there are a few different purposes for including them in his scenes. An anecdote can add humor.
5 long years he wore this watch. Up his ass.
It can delay the inevitable and create suspense.
Your boy told me his whole life story.
Superman. Not a great comic book, not particularly well drawn.
How long does this shit take to go into effect?
Just long enough for me to finish my point.
Or it can reveal character.
But you're not a worker bee. You're a renegade killer bee.
The Superman speech is pure Tarantino, and there is a point to it. It sums up the bride's internal struggle.
You would have worn the costume of Arlene Plimpton. But you were born Beatrix Kiddo.
When you're writing, let your characters tell stories, but make sure they are relevant to the characters and add depth to their development. All right, screenwriters, if you find yourself writing extended dialogue scenes, make what's at stake clear from the beginning and ramp up the tension from there. Structure distinct sections and movements in the scene to keep it dynamic and allow your characters to tell stories that reveal character.
It's the details that sell your story.
Check out our other videos and articles that focus on storytelling, directing, and production techniques. Subscribe to our channel below, click the bell icon for notifications, and follow us on our Instagram page. To write scenes like Tarantino, you need to put the audience through the ringer.
Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go home and have a heart attack.